98, 99, 100. Well, one of the things that all of us have been doing in trying to establish a new routine is to keep on top of exercise, isn't it? But I wonder if you knew that the Bible actually has something to say about exercise. Let me read you something that the Apostle Paul wrote to his friend Timothy. It's in 1 Timothy chapter 4. He said, physical training is of some value. It's of some value. And of course he's right, isn't he? We know that physical training and getting out for a walk or a jog or doing some exercises in our own home, that those are things which really help us to stay healthy and to stay happy, and that God gave us our bodies and he wants us to look after them. But he's going somewhere else with this, because notice he says physical training is of some value. And we get the idea, don't we, that he's going to say that something else is of more value, and that's exactly what he does. He says, but godliness has value for all things. What does he mean by godliness? Well, he's just been talking about Timothy training himself to be godly. And he said that the alternative to that is filling your mind with all kinds of stuff. He talks about godless myths and old wives' tales. He talks about filling your head with all kinds of stuff that is made up and that is being passed around from person to person, instead of filling your head with what God says. That sounds quite relevant, doesn't it, at the moment? A lot of us are spending a lot of time on social media and we end up with all kinds of stuff going around our heads, and some of it, in fact, is just an old wives' tale or just something that is made up by somebody. Paul is saying that the only thing that we know really comes from God, the only thing that is of real value, is what is in this book, the Bible. And if you're a Christian, I guess like me, you've been struggling with that part of your routine, to keep reading the Bible, to keep praying, to fit it into your new routine in the same way that you have to fit in physical exercise of some sort. Why would we do that? Why is that such a priority with all of the other demands on our time? Well, he says godliness has value for all things. Physical training has some value, but godliness, filling your mind with what God says and seeking to live it out, it has value for all things. He says it holds promise for both the present life and the life to come. What does that mean? Well, being godly in the sense of listening to what God says has value in the present life. It gives us the right perspective on what is going on. It helps us to understand that God is bigger than all of this, and it helps us to know how to live in a way that is wise. But even more importantly, it has promise for the life to come. Because if we know what is in this book, and if we trust in the God who gave us this truth, and we believe in his son Jesus and accept his forgiveness, well then it's not just this life that we are going to benefit in, but it is eternity in being with him forever. Now that is really valuable, isn't it? Now, better get back to my exercise. What's next? Press ups. Okay, see ya.